lived there. I do know that. You understand me? The woman know everything about the house. You understand me? You know what I mean? You know, you ain't gonna be building no nuclear missile in the basement, because when you leave, she done snoop down in the house. She snooper.
Well, I don't think that a young woman. Most of the times people, because of fast food restaurants and things like that, I think that we're so quick to get a quick meal or to eat at the job.
Sure.
You know, that we don't have a tendency to cook at home. But when you get a mate, when you get a husband, then the young woman, she's going to recognize that her husband wants something from her hands.
But then Denise, are you saying what I often say to many women, then is it the Shazam effect that a man should wait for? Because, in other words, is the woman going to get married and she's used to, Chairman Hatcher, she's used to eating at the job, and she's used to going out to dinner. Right. She used to doing this and doing that and everything, but quick. But then now when she get married, now she married. So all of a sudden she going to come home and say, Shazam, I know. And become that great cook. Now, you understand me? I had, you know, when I went on my own, I was 24 years old. I had such hard time with women. And I'll tell you why.
Couldn't cook.
The reason why was I was unbelieving of their character and the things that they would do, especially in that kitchen. I thought that every woman knew how to cook. I was bred to believe that. And I was bred to believe that I was supposed to use the ham and bill. But then when I got out there and some of the meals that was cooked, you know what I mean, and some of the ways that they were cooked, it was either over buttered or it's too much salt and things. You know, I can't have all those things. I can't have that stuff. You know what I mean? Sit down and have to drink 4 gallons of water to get out of it. And then what happened with me was, then I'm a man that go on research. So after meeting so many young women at the time, I was young myself, and then I started, going into research. I said, well, now, when you were 14 and your mama was in the kitchen, where were you at? She said, I was at the drill team. Okay. Okay, when you were 15 and mama was making shortening, where were you at? She said that I was at the opera, or I was here and I was there. And so I said, it seems to me that her mama that could cook, bred a young woman that could not cook. Didn't have to. And then as you sit down and you listen, you be a spy and everything, you listen and try to see what's going on, and come to find out that was supposed to be the new era, that you didn't have to do what I did. In other words, I had to cook for your father, or, I had to cook, but you ain't got to do that because you got an education, or you got this, that, and the other. You understand me? And then it created someone that really did not know. And then that's when I took pressure off of people I dealt with, and I start cooking myself. But I still have a problem on cooking for a woman. I really have never done that. I would just go buy her a meal, and I'll cook my own food. I just never, that form of servitude, I have not evolved into.
Well,
I have not ventured there yet.
It all depends on the relationship, because I know that my mother, when she married her second time, her husband wanted to do all the cooking.
Right.
And he worked.
Sure.
And so she welcomed that. That was a joy. So I think it all depends on the relationship. But you talk about young women knowing how to cook. How about the men? Do they know how to fix things around the house?
But see, that's the thing.
So, both. The man has to pass things down as well as the woman.
Sure. I'm not picking on a woman. I'm not picking on a woman. But she is the bread. The bottom line is that she is the one that the child is gonna glue to her. You understand me? You understand what I mean? You know what I mean?
But how about the man? Can he fix something around the house?
So these are things that we have to reintroduce. I imagine, into the culture, because some things, and
some things have been lost.
Yes, and I think that a lot of things have been lost. I say this to you, Denise. I say this to you, Chairman Hatcher. Is that a lot of things have been lost because of the evolution of us. You know what I mean? As we were, if you go back to the 60s, as we were going to these big colleges, as we were going to these different things, we were moving up, moving on up and on out. You understand me? Then come to find out, bless you, young man. Then come to find out is that we find that we have thrown down some things.
Right, that's right.
That, you know what I mean, that we need.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we need. I was at a store not too long ago, and I bought some fruits. They come up in carrots and stuff like that, and the guy come up to $17. $17 some cents. Wow, just fruit, carrots, and few other things, and everything. Not just this, but a little bit more. And he looked in my cart and said, "Is there anything else?" I said, "Well, now unless you're gonna charge me for the cart." You understand me? There ain't nothing down. I mean, like, there's a piece of plastic down there, or a leaf, maybe a leaf of, a leaf that might have dropped off from somebody putting
charge you for that.
What collard greens in there, maybe a little half a leaf. I'm not gonna use that leaf. You understand me? So unless you're gonna do that, then I don't know where in the world that you're gonna charge me for. So it motivated me to this summer to build a garden. And this garden, I didn't get much out of this garden this year. You understand me? I spent more in it than I got out of it, but it was just a learning. Next year. Next year going to be, it's going to be the harvest coming in. You understand what I'm trying to say? That's my point. In fact, I'm going to get it cultivated in a little while, and I'm going to cultivate this thing. You understand me? I'm cultivating that little area down there. You see what I mean? I'm going to change this thing around because, you know what I mean? I said, I need apple trees because I love apples this time of the year. This time of the year, I get all kinds of apples, apples coming in. My aunt sends some up from down south, all over, New York State, I get apples, upstate New York. So the idea, this is my apple time now. Okay. So I go home and cut up a big apple. You know what I mean? That's like almost dinner, 2 or 3 of them. You understand me? So I got to start thinking about getting me an apple tree also. You understand me? Because I got to cut these little things, It's these little things. And I'm not picking on nobody, but it's just these little things that we got to, I believe, get back to.
That's right.
Chairman Hatcher, you want to share with us about the march the other day?
Yeah, well, we had a march the other day here in Plainfield trying to say stop the violence. And because of the incident that happened 2 weeks before that, there was 5 shootings that happened here in Plainfield. One man was shot down and killed, and that was on Sunday night, and then I think it was on Tuesday night into Wednesday morning there was another 3 shootings. And it was just going crazy out here. And we said, well, let's have a march. Let's say stop the violence, peace in the streets. And we had a march. I called up the Courier newspaper and told them about it. And they put a little thing in the newspaper to let people know about it. And that went in the paper on a Friday newspaper. The next day, that Saturday, we had the march. Now, I was thinking that we would have a couple people, maybe 100 people at the most, to come out there and say, stop the violence, peace in the streets. I was really shocked when we had the march and there was about 15 people that showed up. Wow. There was only 15 people that came out to the march saying, stop the violence. But we went ahead and had the march, but what got me was just, it was out of the 15 people, half of them were white here in Plainfield. And it kind of threw me for a loop because when you're out here trying to say stop the violence, peace in the streets, and I can see if we were out there passing out flyers, flyers and maybe the word would get out. And, and that would reach maybe 200 people, 200 flyers. But then the newspaper reaches thousands of people.
Yes.
And when thousands of people may see about it, and only 15 people show up, it starts to make you wonder, well, what good is the fight if people are not going to fight back? And what got me also was some of our elected officials.
Sure.
I know they all know how to read. They almost look at the paper. And for them not to come out is another thing that kind of threw me. The one man that did come out, well, he was the one running for mayor here in Plainfield. The white gentleman, Jim Pickaninny. Yeah, yes. He was on your show a while ago.
Yes.
He came out.
In fact, he's going to be next week. Him and Sharon Robinson Briggs and Jerry Green and the whole Republican team should be here next week.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he was the only one out of all of our other elected officials, city council, that was there, and it kind of threw me. I mean, I don't get thrown too much. I've been doing this work for a long time now. But
volunteer too.
Yeah. Nobody gets paid for what we do, but it just kind of threw me that we're starting to accept the violence that goes on in our community as a norm, and we don't get mad and don't get angry and don't say that stop the violence. And also when not even the families came out.
The family of the deceased.
Of the deceased.
Yeah,
the families of the one that was the violence